Hello, everybody. Let's get excited for Alphabet. So, lots of questions about Urbit have to do with what you can do on Urbit. We have built an application that allows you to make bets against your friends. Most people are aware of the advantages to using peer-to-peer computing for messaging, data sharing, and transactions. One activity that uses all three of these in an Urbit native format is a prediction market. Our alpha product is a way for you and your friends to make predictions and bets against each other. This functionality utilizes the innate decentralized architecture of Urbit. Public bets reach everyone on the network, and private bets are between you and your select friends alone. So whether you're making predictions on global topics or just trying to settle a bet within a community from 2 to 2,000, this uncensorable and pseudonymous application solves prediction markets centralization issues. You've probably heard me say that before. Anyway, so I'd like to introduce ourselves. My name is Christopher Colby. I'm Sarmine Samnime on the network. I run Urbit Oxford, and Rick is the other half of Alphabet.
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm Rick. I'm running Urbit Paris, and I'm the CTO of Alphabet, solsup-soplyd on the network. Yeah.
Excellent. So, this talk is going to have three parts. First part is over. That's the introduction. The second part is going to be the philosophical ramifications of the third part, which is our demo and elucidation of our future roadmap for Alphabet. So, before we talk about the technical detail behind our alpha product, I think it would be useful to introduce the audience to the definition of a prediction market.
Oh, just, yeah.
Slide.
Right.
Yeah, great, thanks. That's perfect right there. And I'm going to start as high level as possible in defining it. This is going to get philosophical, and it's going to be consequential. You have been warned. Strictly speaking, a prediction market is the act of finding consensus. Prediction markets find things out. They discover new information, and as their name describes, they can predict the future. When a group of people gets together and agrees on something, they are staking the future on a claim made in the present. That can be something as distinct as a decision of which dish to order at the tapas restaurant down the street, or as long-term as where to store value for an entire society over thousands of years. Sometimes these forecasts can go wrong. For instance, the Aristotelian stopping point of a democratic society was when the people realized that they could vote themselves money. At that point, the collective wisdom of every citizen was compromised by a tragedy of commons that oriented itself to the appetitive notions, not ones that have to do with the greater good or some higher form of wisdom. The society collapses because the base instincts of those running it circumvent a long-term interest in the health of the greater structure. This is stasis. You do not want stasis. In the Aristotelian prescription, at the turn of the cycle, a king is born. Some Urbitos will be aware of modern thinkers who interpret Girard's notion of a scapegoat for the king. The king is the solution to the problem of the frontier when a collective sense of wisdom breaks down. You now need one person for consensus. Things are easier. Only one person decides what to order at the restaurant or what the currency is. And the society succeeds or fails because of the fitness of this choice. It is still an act of consensus, but it is the consensus of one. And this can be vital for periods of high turmoil that require decisiveness. This is why we pay CEOs and care about leadership as an intangible good. It is why the Athenian democracy was ruled by 30 tyrants after they lost against Sparta. It's why Rome needed an emperor. In this system of rule by one, you are rendered a tyrannic form. Sometimes there can be a bit more than one, perhaps up to 255. This would be an oligarchic form. And then there is the middle form of the timocratic, but that definition is beyond this assessment. The analogy here to stars will be best thought of in the philosopher minds that TED will be sent to following assembly. The point here, and why this is relevant for this image that we have up on the screen, is because this cycle of rulership and consensus is exactly what happened to the internet. We began with a dream by an infinitesimally small, comparatively, number of people in contrast to how many users of the internet there are today. It's happening to Urbit right now. And it's crucial for understanding why prediction markets are an effective antidote for our society today at large and vital for Urbit. I will now return to the subject of consensus. One supposed miracle of modern technology has been the truth-finding application of the blockchain. I'll note that we think consensus on a blockchain must be decentralized, but it doesn't have to be. Sunny's talk yesterday about the potential for galaxies as validators on a hypothetical Urbit-based blockchain points at this. You don't need everyone to be a validator. We don't want a world where the 7 Ethereum nodes that sustain the network are run by the wrong people. We must be hyper-aware of where exactly there are consensus-reaching mechanisms in our society. Where are we agreeing, and where are we being told what to do? When would Dr. Jack Cruz tell you to fight back? Where are our centralization faults, and where people can lie to you? Some would say that Urbit was designed explicitly to counteract the general malaise and ball of mud atmosphere in computing. You have one person, a mythologically important person for the community, who gets together with a few friends to incubate a decision. And what is the reception of this decision? How is this conclusion reached? That brings us to the oracle issue. In the king situation, in the system of rule by one, it's just divine will. My stance on Nock's divinity does not belong in this talk or Alphabet's roadmap, but I would get more into that afterward. In the democratic, purely actualized system of everyone being involved, it's the collective wisdom that defines the oracle. In the Greek world, the oracle was extremely important. It told you whether, at the end of the day, your consensus was actually correct. The word oracle literally means to see in Latin, to witness what has been done. In the Greek world, it came from Montaigne. That was one letter away from my name, which is to be insane. The stability of whether or not we validate the mantic arts of information accrual and information markets are substantial and at the core of all prediction markets. As Plato describes in the Phaedrus, there are 4 types of divine madness. From Apollo, the gift of prophecy; from Dionysus, the mystic rites and relief from present hardship; from the Muses, poetry; and from Aphrodite, love. These 4 madnesses are all present in Urbit today. There is an oracular quality to them. These 4 premonitions are the reasons why Urbit has a soul. I will not go into Plato's discussion of madness here, but it is important for prediction markets, I promise. These madnesses are also why Urbit is dangerous. The flip side to the king being the single point of consensus or an oligarchy is that in times of stress, when they rise to allow consensus, they are also the scapegoat if things go wrong. The Jeffersonian origins of the Enlightenment sense of rationality that has led to our technical world today has much to say on the art of making sure that this is the scapegoat situation, this form of stasis does not occur. But if your leader starts saying the wrong thing, if the emissary for truth, as we like to think Urbit is, begins to falter against the collective patience of the society, they will throw it out. And that's exactly what can happen to Urbit if we're not careful. It's exactly what happens to every prediction market that has been made so far. But that is also another conversation. For now, it is important that we can ask ourselves where, within this assumed system that has longevity, we feel rationality shine. Spoiler alert, it shines in markets. This is not a picture of a path through a circle. It is a picture of a market. Here, in this image, you see the path that people have made through the circle. The path is called a desire path. Some people may be familiar. It is the cumulative democratic selection of a commonly held truth that going through the middle of the circle is better than going around. People have set a value on their time, and the price was cheaper going through the middle. Maybe you can equate that to users finding that in order to compute, it's best to go through Urbit, rather than go through the cumbersome circularities of the rest of the digital world. You can make markets on anything. We make decisions all the time. We break rules all the time. Why do prediction markets keep failing? We are sometimes ashamed of our decisions that we make, or afraid to make them, but they are necessary. Exercising our ability to choose is healthy for society, and is the collective rationality of society's method for recuperating its self-defense mechanism against evil. Here is a lengthy quote from Plato's Laws that describes this. The citizens must believe that no other state exists which can compare with ours in respect of the degree in which it possesses leisure and control over the necessities of life, and believe also that it, like an individual, ought to lead a good life. But for a good and blessed life, the first requisite is neither to do wrong oneself nor to suffer wrong from others. Of these, the former is not very hard, but it is very hard to secure immunity from suffering wrong. Indeed, it is impossible to gain this perfectly except by becoming perfectly good. So likewise, a state may obtain a life of peace if it becomes good, but if bad, a life of war, both abroad and at home. This being so, all men must train for war not in wartime, but while they are living in peace. Along with sacrifices, they must continually devise noble games to serve as festival contests, modeled as closely as possible on those of war. At each of these, they must distribute prizes and awards of merit, and compose for one another speeches of praise and blame, according to the character each one exhibits, not only in the contests, but in his life generally, magnifying him who is accounted most good and blaming him who is not. Thank you, Plato, for a prediction market definition. I have described to you here the importance of exercising rationality. It is of vital importance to allow rational thought and discourse to materialize in the world, and prediction markets allow that to happen through achieving group consensus on truth. All right, big brain time is officially over. Because of the architecture on Urbit, we have an opportunity to make a community decision-making mechanism and meaningful oracle. This leads me to my next point, which is, how do you build a prediction market? Well, to build a prediction market, you have to be able to bet on a subject. And ideally, you have to have a universal currency for making that bet or stance. That is called money, on the order of magnitude outside a local society where things like honor and virtue can be staked instead of a fiat of some sort. So you bet on something, and when approximately 100 people have staked their opinion on what they think is right and wrong, you arrive at the right answer. You really do. It is actually that simple. So, what are the problems? If you read through the legal document in the former slide, you may have noticed things can go wrong when creating a prediction market. The problems with prediction markets is that they are hard to build. You must easily enfranchise people to make decisions on things. You need three things. You need real money, you need good UX, and you have to allow users to pose and subsidize their own questions. We solve these problems through Urbit. So where are we starting? We start with the lowest level unit that's necessary to make this happen. We allow you to make a bet against someone else using technology. And we have no part in it. We are not a market maker or a betting exchange. We are a platform for allowing you to talk to your friends about what you are thinking.
Okay, so I'll try to break down why this is special. I think what Topher talked about is he explained why prediction markets matter, but I try to give an explanation why it matters to build prediction markets on a distributed, on a networked operating system like Urbit. Obviously, you all know that prediction markets have been around for quite a long time, right? It started, to give some kind of historical perspective, it started in the 90s with the advent of the internet and this idea that markets would have the ability to pop up from anywhere. But for all the problems that Topher just pointed out, the promise didn't fulfill. But then, 15 years later, we're still back. Crypto is here, and a new burst is given to the prediction markets. The prediction market flame is revived, and we get to a point where people start talking about prediction markets again, and they start being excited. They start building again prediction markets, and so we believe that a networked operating system is the missing piece for the stack, because what crypto did is that it brought an important piece, but not the entire part of a stack that would enable prediction markets to emancipate themselves from third parties and centralized systems. So essentially, by using Urbit, we are building a new prediction market standard for the next computing age. Alphabet is a fully decentralized prediction market. It lays the foundation for strong reputational primitives that are uniquely enabled through Urbit's finite namespace azimuth. And it also contributes as a flywheel in both financial and social vectors in Urbit's composable ecosystem. Our grand thesis here at Alphabet is that, I just talked about how prediction markets aren't new. So obviously, prediction markets don't need Urbit to exist, but we believe that they need it to persist. And the way that the software is distributed across the network makes the network itself the best place for prediction markets to prosper and flourish.
Excellent. So what does the competitive landscape look like for a prediction market that follows off the structural particulars that Rick just mentioned? So as Balaji has said, blockchain-based prediction markets give people a financial incentive to seek the truth and then protect them with the twin shields of pseudonymity and decentralization. But surely this has been tried before. What's gone wrong with the others, and why do we need another one now? Our competitors are Predictit.com, Polymarket, Kalshi, and Manifold all have single points of failure, poor UX, and they can't access network effects due to regulatory constraints. Predictit existed for decades and was shut down with one letter from the CFTC. Polymarket has raised lots of money, it is making some pretty good money, but still has failed to reach past regulatory obstacles and encourage market capitalization of the entire crypto community, much less the entire world. Kalshi has similarly raised an inordinate amount of money, hired former CFTC commissioners so they won't get fined millions of dollars and years of time like Polymarket, and they were still told no by regulators when they asked for the very simple allowances to make their centralized system run well for users. These all contribute to liquidity problems, which are essential to solve so that the wisdom of the crowd can actually come into effect. They all have run into issues that we feel capable of solving with Alphabet on Urbit. Now is the time to build a prediction market on Urbit. The network difficulties that will be surmounted by Aries, as well as other concerns with the Urbit architecture, are also concerns for us, but they are not currently a problem for an application that takes group consensus on a voted-on subject. Additionally, Alphabet can be the first Urbit app to reach the broader popular market demand for money on Urbit and distribute this primitive elsewhere. And
yeah, so as you can see, we do not run a betting market. We only facilitate your ability to create markets and make bets against others. And this is really important because Alphabet is a fully decentralized product, and it is meant to remain censorship resistant. And that way, you know, like this is always like, if it remains censorship resistant, you know, you can just keep going and do it. It's just, you know, what I was referring to with software distribution. It just becomes censorship resistant as a whole.
yeah. So there's also there's the question of what do you do with the bad actors and make bad markets? So every distributed system should be prepared for bad actors. We believe that Urbit's namespace should be used as a way to make these distributed systems applications reliable, communal, and reflective of a positive movement forward in how we interact with technology. Alphabet is planning to leverage Urbit's pseudonymous, scarce address space to reach this consensual truth. Using this model, success is based not just on the value of this reputation, but the value of stars, planets, and galaxies potentially that users use. Users are bought in through virtue of the application of their planet's value. Our delivery of a native reputation system, in line with other communities' attempts at refining reputation staking, will also be a meaningful site for innovation in the near future. While we are not opposed to using existing reputational tools, there's nonetheless a necessity to coming up with something that will help us deliver a prediction market ready for every consecutive group of community involvement that will not be simple censorship on behalf of a central authority as its outcome. Our ability to innovate in this area using Urbit namespace will not only increase the value of Urbit assets, but also make real use of the decentralized federated architecture of the Urbit operating system. Now we'll both describe how we plan to deliver this. So, how do we deliver this product? So, first of all, we develop a simple UX that focuses on the user first. How do we get users to take on risk? What is the easiest way to allow you to make a decision? What are the decisions that you've already made that we don't even have to ask you about?
We also make it accessible, and Alphabet should be and will be accessible, and at least accessible enough so that people outside of Urbit's concentric circle would be able to access our app in a way that is seamless and frictionless. That means we could use a simple wallet connection, or the latest releases like EOF or OpenIR, which essentially lets users outside of Urbit to join the app. And that is going to be key, not only for Alphabet but also for Urbit to run this kind of accessibility features, because we need to rise past the Urbit's current user base. And so if Alphabet is able to rise past this current user base, then we just won. Then of course, you obviously know that this is not that easy, and there are some scalability issues. But it must be accessible. That is very important.
Yeah, and as the other applications and companies have presented here, we want to be social. So if there is an app that is being built on Urbit right now, we want to be on it. So this goes from everything from games to chat apps, from mood boards to your company to your internal Slack. The ability to embed and associate our product with whatever medium you decide to compute will be vital for Alphabet.
Yeah, the composability is very important. One of Alphabet's goal is to find novel ways to use the data that is accrued in the markets and use it elsewhere, as well as as a prediction market standard, we want to be an open API that you guys can plug into to find predictions and better information in your favorite apps.
Yeah. And this makes sense if we think about Robert Hansen's recent evaluation of prediction markets' global potential. So he says, if we could find a way to get people better information in their decisions, it will be a huge percent of the value in the world out there. To achieve that is not just a small, cute startup. It's a big percentage of world product. A world product is somewhere around 30 trillion to 100 trillion. Robin Hansen's point is one that we are acutely aware of while building a prediction market. The initial low-hanging fruit is a fun application that allows you to make bets with peers. These can and will be fun and entertaining situations. But the real value of our composable prediction market will be allowing people to find and utilize new vectors for making markets with their friends in the world today. And speaking of fun, useful instances, it is now time to demo the app.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I would like to make a bet against my friend Rick. So here I am on the Alphabet front end. I have the very nice Pappy Sogdeg Maznet, one of the prettier ones, I promise. The bet will be the Alphabet assembly presentation will end on time. I'm going to tag this Alpha Team, and I want this to be a private bet. I want it to resolve by tomorrow. I want the settler to be my friend Rick, midbet-nopdev, and I'm going to predict against him as well. So now I have this. I hit the predict button.
There you go. Oh. Yeah.
And here it is, right here. So this has immediately appeared on everybody that is listed as the ship involved. So for instance, in this case, it's just Rick. So I provided 50 alpha and liquidity. You have to have some staking at the very beginning. But I can also say, well, I want to double down here, and I want to say, yes, we will end on time. We will rocket through the rest of our presentation. And as soon as I hit yes, you see this immediately updates to 50 alpha. And while I'm waiting for Rick to make a bet of his own, I can show you all the other assembly bets or the other public bets in the All tab that everybody has made everywhere. So for instance, will Aries get merged in February 2024? Thank you, Thomas, for making that bet. And then when Rick's ready, he will make a bet on no. How's this going?
Yeah, the network is bad.
Yeah, it's because he knows he's going to lose. Yeah, it's like, oh, the network's bad.
Yeah. Live demo, man.
It's all right, we're patient.
Yeah, it works.
Okay, great. So hopefully, have you made the bet?
No, not yet. I'm just landing on the app.
Okay. Well, I'll also walk you through other parts of our app. So you have your portfolio of bets that you've made. So I've staked on will Curtis Yarvin be present on the Galaxy stage at Assembly. You can also view comments on bets. I like this one. Blimp DAO is heating up. It seems decisive that Poledeck will drop something from an airship. Actually, not a single person voted no on this. Everybody believes that Poledeck will drop something from an airship. I have no comments, but everybody should come to the Blimp DAO event. How's it going, Rick?
Bad.
Very good.
It's still loading. It's just
okay. Well, the shtick is that he hits no, and this would happen here. And then, for instance, if I go to my portfolio, if I make a bet here, new bet, and then I say the settler is myself, I just want to show you how we settle things. And I say it's private, and I want it to be against Rick. middet-stop dev. Bang. Excuse me. I didn't do the date. Sog deg dash maznet. And then I want to bet against dash stop dev. Believe I have everything. I hit predict. Uh-oh. I'm going to fill out more stuff. Tag. Excuse us. OK, so basically, the settle button will appear if you are the settler. So on Rick's thing, you would hit settle, and it would close like that. I apologize that his thing isn't loading. Or did you get it to load?
No, we can give up on this.
OK, very good. But this gives you an idea of what our front end looks like. And you can make bets on things right now. And over 200 people have already used the application to make and settle bets. So, OK, we can leave demo now. We can go back to the PowerPoint presentation. Tech, yeah, thank you. Sweet. So that is our atomic function, right? Realistically, your average user has no better handle on the internal function of a prediction market, or frankly, really any program they use beyond the superficial descriptions and accordances they're given by developers. But we want to emphasize that this peer-to-peer, uncensorable betting structure is completely unique to our application. No other prediction market has a way for you to make a prediction market of one-to-one. There is no system for making a peer-to-peer bet on the internet right now except on Urbit, and it's done distinctly through the Urbit architecture. So, thank you. So, we are very happy to announce that coming in the next year, we're going to be working with a variety of other Urbit companies in the ecosystem to figure out how to put real money on Alphabet so that we can truly break AIMS once and for all. If we get 1% of the people that currently use prediction markets, then we will quadruple the number of active Urbit users. That's a good statistic, not even considering everybody else that's beyond the current prediction market crowd.
So this is a reminder, I think, of what we should all be chasing. We like this quote over here. What the tools we rely on the most heavily have in common is that they're all simple, durable, and ours. At Alphabet, we want to build one of these tools. Prediction markets at max thrust can accrue truth. They can clarify prices or even save lives by anticipating drug trials. So eventually, we believe that our approach to building prediction markets will make the necessity of digital sovereignty closer to a reality.
And here's our time to give you something. Thank you so much for coming. If you are not on the network, you can scan this QR code right now and get a free ship. Thank you, Red Horizon, for the fleet.
Thank you, Red Horizon.
Yeah. And thank you to all our advisors. If you would like to be on this slide, please contact us on the network. I'm Sarmine Sam9, and Rick is solsup-soplyd. Thank you to Rick for letting me drag him on stage to do the demo. And thank you to Ramelia for filling this room with people before we even showed up. So thank you to you all, and have a great day. Look forward to talking more, and get on Alphabet.
Thank you very much.
2 seconds left.